Yeah, it's working today. Um, so let me go over some of the homework question that you guys may have. I'm worried about the shading one, so I'm not sure if shading are right because I thought I graphed it on the thing. So break time. Okay, I think this is the okay. So number four. Okay. So I'm gonna move this graph just tiny bit. First of all, I want to help out some people yesterday that who is not here. This is called a standard form. Standard form you want to start by understanding a little bit is what kind of format is. If it's an inside a parenthesis, does not matter absolute value or parenthesis. They are called group function. Never heard it before? Group function is a parenthesis, square root. They all group function. They group something together. They acting like a parenthesis. So whatever is inside a parenthesis or absolute value, they move opposite sign. Regardless, that absolute value does not make the negative one change to positive one. I'm trying to say is a lot of people on the test, I've seen this in the past, that they thought this negative one changes to positive. It does not change the sign. Absolute value just only change the evaluation afterwards. So you can look at the evaluation. So let's look at this first graph. And the first graph says moving right 1 unit. So moving right 1 unit and move up 2 unit. Do you guys see that? So that is going to be this point. It's facing down, so it's going to be like this. Now, why is a slope of 2? Because this is 2, so therefore slope of 2. So you should graph like this. Hopefully you have this part of graph, and you graph it. Now this should be dotted line, so let me draw a dotted line on this side. This is dotted line. Okay, so how do I know which side to shade? Well, in this case, I'm gonna use the test point instead of 0/0 because it's cross 0/0. So sometimes it happen if cross 0/0. I will not try that. I'm gonna plug in 1, 0 into the function. So be 0 less than -2. 1 minus 1 is 0 plus 2. Is 0 less than 2? Is that false? Is that true or false? 0 is less than 2. So which side do I shade? Inside. Okay, good. Is that okay? Moving left 1 up 2. That is my thing. And a lot of people didn't know how to grab the subsequent points, which is a point is going to be based on this. Assume that this is a new axis. This is a new axis here. This is a 0/0. And then you're going to move 1 and go up 1. And you move 2, you move up 4. So it's going to be something like this. And this is going to be a graph. And that's the solid line. Now I'm going to test 0/0 in this case. I'm going to plug in 0 greater than 1 squared plus 2. It's 0 greater than 3. Is that true? No. So we're going to shade it right here. But the problem they ask is 0, 4. So is 0, 4 a solution? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it's solution for the green graph. It's not solution for the red graph. So in this case, that there is not a solution because it's not in the overlap. Yes, Leah. How do I get those? Oh, the parabola points? Yeah. Okay. Remember the parabola is always same thing. So we're going to talk about parabola in a second. Um, the parabola is always same 5 points. Why? Because you plug in x and y equal to x squared. It's going to be -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. If you plug in -2, 4, 1, 0, 1, and 4. Now, you see this is 1, 1. This is 2, 4. Yeah. So it's just gonna base on here. -1, -2 is gonna go up 4 based on those units right here. But it start at 0, 0. Yes, Charlotte.
For the parabola, why would you input the 0, 0, but for the other one input still 1?
Because this is a testing point and the easier to test 0, 0. But the other one, the 0, 0 is on the line. So if it's on the line, it's not a good position to check. You want to check something out on other than the boundary line. You can check 0, 1 because if you check 0, 1, it's going to be false. Then you still shade opposite from the things. Very good question. Sometimes you're going to get a situation the boundary line is laid directly on the origin. If they directly on the origin, you cannot use 0, 0. So you can use other point. That's why the nice thing about test point is you can use any random point there to test. It's just easier to check on 0, 0 and 0, 1. Okay, Robert? No, I won't do that. I will do the multiplier to the absolute value, but my tendency is not gonna do a multiplier on the parabola. If I do, then that graph's gonna stretch too much and my test paper is not gonna fill it. But if I were to ask you, I would say, is any stretch value? If you see it's 2, you're gonna say a vertical stretch. Is that okay? Yeah. So I will probably just ask you says how much it stretch, how much it moved to the right, how much it moved to the left. It's a reflection, but I won't ask you to graph it. Yeah. Any other questions for homework? Uh-huh. Who asked? Yes. Yes, for example, like this one, right? This one is for the absolute value is gonna be a slope, but not for the parabola though. Okay, so this one move left 4 units, right 4 units. Sorry, I can't read, and go up 2 units, right? And then so usually it's this way. Usually it's like this, but it's not because the -2 is gonna cause a reflection, and the 2 is gonna change it to become a slope for absolute value only. Now, to answer Robert's question, if it's 2 in front of parabola, it just makes a stretch. So instead of 0, instead of 1, 1, it's going to be 1, 2. So that point is going to double. Instead of 2, 4, it's going to be 2, 8. So it's double the output. Is that okay? But I probably won't ask you that. I'll just ask you what is the stretch value here and what's the move right. So this graph is going to be like this. And it's a domain. Domain is going to be a real number. And your range is going to be what? What's the range? To 2, okay. Bracket. Axis symmetries, x equal to 4. And vertex is going to be 4 comma -2. Or 2, 4 comma 2. Brandon? Can you explain how you got range? Range, I look at the graph. I think that I have a scanner, and that scan whenever it stops intersecting. So I go from low to high, so I go from -30 all the way to there, and I don't scan anything on it after 2. Merle? Good. I would like to talk about that one. So B is actually a good one. So imagine that if I plug in -x on tomorrow's test, which is you're going to have, is I'm going to ask you to even a function. The only thing you have to do is replace the x with -x. You're going to get some type of credit for doing that. You cannot just tell me it says, oh yeah, that looks like 4 and 2, that's even. No, you do not do that because that doesn't always work. In this particular case, doesn't work. Yesterday, it has a homework question. A lot of people put odd, but was even. But this quiz is appear to even, but it's actually odd. So if I put a -x here to the 4th power minus -x to the 2nd and -x to the 1st. Now this one just gonna be negative times negative times negative times negative is a positive x to the 4 minus x to the square. On the bottom is negative x. Now, you see this is the original functions, right? You can put this negative sign in the front, so it's opposite than the original function. So, so it's opposite than the original function. So this is actually what? Odd. And the symmetry to what? You have to restate that because tomorrow's test, I'm gonna ask you, hey, tell me are they symmetry to origin or are they symmetry to y-axis, or are they neither? I can give you neither equation. You have to figure out that's neither. I can give you a table, ask you are they even or odd. I can give you a graph, ask you are they even or odd. You have to look at the symmetry. Are they symmetry to origin or the symmetry y-axis? I can give you any sorts of way. You guys gotta figure out. Right on, you late? Were you here before? No, you're not. You're coming late. Did you do homework? That's it. Why you always get home late? See, you're not even the first step. This is the first step. 5, 6, and 7. Where's the graph and 1? Where's the graph? It's not complete, but that's too. That's not enough for me to give you credit. I think 70-80% is realistic. If you finish 70-80%, 90%, I understand. But if you finish 2 questions now. Next question. Guys, check your graph on decimals. Tomorrow's test, you're gonna have transformation. It asks you to shift left, right, up, down, stretch, compress. I will ask you increasing, decreasing, positive, negative. It will ask you probably piecewise function again. Not absolute value in the thing. You know, I have to make sure I ask you that. Composite function, inverse function. I will ask all that. So on last Friday's homework, come back here afternoon, figure out how to do something. If you're not sure how to do something, ask. Okay? All right, so then we're going to go to standard form. So we know how to graph vertex form. What is standard form? Yesterday, we already told you there's 3 forms. One is, we already talked about this, which is a times x minus h squared plus k. We already did this form. And we did it with absolute value. Okay? So this is called a vertex form. Is that okay? The vertex is going to be h and k. And a I'm going to write in red because this a is shared among throughout the situation. I'm going to write down a here. I'm going to write down a here. Now, I'm going to fill in the rest of the information. So this one is going to be ax squared plus bx plus c. That's called a standard form. This one is called x minus p and x minus q. That is a factor form. So this is a standard form. And this is called a factor form. So this is all the quadratic. Quadratic has all 3 different forms. It has standard form. Axis symmetry is going to be x equal to h. Yeah, that's that. Now for standard form, it's actually a little bit harder. So most of you guys remember standard form. And that standard form is the things that you remember for what? Standard form makes sure you know like what? Quadratic formula. I'm going to explain to you why you need a quadratic formula because there's multiple pieces of information. Quadratic formula, and you need to learn how to use it. Yes.
What we learned yesterday and today, is that going to be on tomorrow's test?
No, it's not. But you're gonna come back afternoon, which is I haven't seen you in the afternoon. Yeah, you need to come in afternoon. I'm seeing Emily. I haven't seen somebody. Bennett. usually here. Katie usually here with 3 cross country people. I haven't seen you guys come here. I need to see more people here. That's straightforward. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to join Move Up a Data Club, I'm sponsoring the club, and on Friday they usually here and they teach something new. It's not me teaching it. It was Mr. Kinch, another pre-calculus. He's really patient. He's really nice. He's teaching you extra stuff if you're interested. They are math competition that we are gonna go to. I don't know if you guys want to go. That sounds very nerdy for some of you guys. I understand. But yeah, if you're interested about math like I do, I would strongly suggest you come in. You can join more of a data club. There is a club fee, but if you are interested, let me know. So standard form, there was a quadratic formula that most of you guys don't remember. How many of you guys remember quadratic formula? Good. Your teacher teach you sing the song that makes you memorize it. Okay. I hate that stupid song. No offense. I'll tell you a story instead. Okay. A story is a I personally cannot sing. It's not because of that. So I'm just salty because I cannot sing. You will pay me not to sing. So quadratic formula is who I'm gonna make fun of. Jesus is my favorite person to make fun of. Jesus is a depressed boy. So negative b. So see that negative b, that means Jesus. So every time you see quadratic formula, you're gonna see Jesus. You can visualize Jesus, right? So this is a sad boy. He's going to like some radical party, right? A radical, right? Crazy party. Okay. The Jesus trying to impress all the girls. Okay. Jesus he's got dance move. Now, any other type of dance, he's doing square dance. Ever seen square dance before? Okay. Like the people do in Texas. Maybe they might do that in Florida too. I don't know. Depending on where you go to. If you go to St. Cloud, yeah. So that Jesus trying to do a square dance without full air condition. So without, he's like all sweaty, like disgusting. But he's moving it, right? And that's okay. The party ended all over at 2 a.m. So there's 2 part of story here. The first part of the story is right. This part is actually right here. There was the first part of information that's lie in quadratic formula. It's actually negative b over 2a. How many of you guys remember what's negative b over 2a? What does that stand for? On a quadratic. Nobody. All your algebra 2 teacher fail you. Well, like, of course, ability-wise. The negative b over 2a is very important information. That is going to tell me a vertex. That's going to tell me the axis of symmetry of a parabola. Okay. It's going to tell me axis of symmetry. By the way, I love Jesus. It's okay. I have to like you to make fun of you, so that means I like you. I didn't like anybody else. But Jesus probably get more girlfriend than some of your boy here. That's crazy. You got such a good personality. You sell yourself short.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No. She's got a good personality, right? Like if I were a girl, it might not good looking, but personality. Hey, I'll go with personality if I were a girl. Again, that's just me though. I'm not like you guys. Just go for the look. They cannot last forever. Personality lasts forever. Think about that. Yeah, you got a person that have good personality. But of course, if you can have both, you have both. Axis symmetry is going to be negative b over 2a. which is the sad boy at 2 a.m. That sad boy could be very happy or could be very sad, right? It's on the vertex. So vertex could be on maximum or minimum. Think about that. It could be very happy or very sad. Now the second part of the story. Okay. The second part of the story is this part. Is this the sad boy trying to do squared 4ac. The sad boy is without 4ac. What is he doing? He's doing square dance to do what? He's gonna impress the girls, right? So there is 3 possibility he can get. You can get 2. What do you guys do when you guys? I don't know. When you guys like finding girlfriend and girlfriend, you ask for snaps, right? Can I have you? You don't ask for phone number anymore, right? Do you ask for phone number? You do? Do some people ask you phone number? Yeah. Instagram.
I don't know. I was not paying attention. That's a great question. I don't got an answer for you, buddy. That's a wonderful question.
Okay, so b squared minus 4ac, if it's greater than 0, and we're going to talk about that with the quadratic formula. If it's greater than 0, you're going to get 2 solutions. So Jesus is going to get 2 phone numbers, 2 solutions. Why are they? Because the square root of positive number, and you got positive and negative in front of the square root sign. So you got positive solution and you got negative solutions, right? Now, if you have b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, the Jesus is going to get 1 solutions, 1 girlfriend. Okay, why? Because you got negative b plus minus square root of 0. Square root of 0 just 0. Then that's basically just means 1 solution. Oh no, it's not overcomplicated. B squared minus 4ac is less than 0. You're going to square root of a negative number. That means you don't get a real solution. So no real roots. No real roots. No real solutions, probably better. And he's got 2 complex roots, which is we're going to talk about on pre-calc a lot. What is complex root? It's square root of -1. So so you're going to get either 2 solution or 1 solution or 1 real or no real solution, 2 complex solution, 2 complex root. For example, complex is like he didn't get actual phone number. He get a phone number for the Pizza Hut. So somebody like didn't want to give him the actual phone number, just give him phone number of Pizza Hut, and or like I don't know, Papa John's. And yeah, so yes, that's what's gonna happen. So you're gonna have those 2 situations. So in terms of quadratic formula, there's a lot of information it can give you. Your SAT can ask you whether you know how to use quadratic formula, can ask you whether you know how many roots are there, and how many real roots, and how many things. So you can get all this information. Now, all this information is gonna help you on graphing though. So let's talk about how do I graph this function. So let's just say if I have f of x, how much time I have?
4.
Okay, so we're gonna go to 1. So ax squared plus bx, and we're gonna say this function is gonna be 2x squared plus ax plus 8, something plus I don't know 10 plus, let's do plus 6. Okay. Here we're gonna say, well, I'm gonna try to graph this. And you're gonna say, okay, how do I graph this? Well, the first thing I'm graphing is I need to find out the x value of the vertex, which is the axis symmetry. Do you know how to find the axis symmetry here? You do, Emily. Don't just shake your head. You haven't tried it. If you haven't tried, you haven't failed yet. So what is the formula for axis symmetry? Okay, do you know what b is? -8 over 2 times 2. That's equal to -8 over 4. That's equal to -2. Well, we already find the axis symmetry. Hey, after that, can you find the vertex? Well, you already know the x value of the vertex. How do you find the y value of the vertex? How do you find y value of vertex? Plug it back in. Exactly. So that's why in the vertex here, all you gotta do is remember vertex is negative b over 2a and f of negative b over 2a. Why? It's just plug in back to the function. You're gonna get a y value. So if we plug in negative 2 here, I'm gonna have 2 times negative 2 squared plus a times negative 2 plus 6. And that's equal to, remember, order operation, that's gonna give you, this one is gonna be 4, not 4 squared, but this is a 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So this is a minus 16 plus 6. That is equal to negative 2. Now I remember Jesus. Jesus always say, that's crazy. Your sister say that all the time.
Does she?
She does.
Oh.
Anybody know Jesus' sister? She does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It runs in the family. So therefore, you got a vertex at negative 2, negative 2. Is that okay? And I can graph it. Believe it or not, I can. It's not information to graph, believe it or not. So how do I graph it? Negative 2, negative 2, that is my vertex. Now, can you tell me what a y-intercept is? Look at the original function. Where's the y-intercept is? Y is 6. Plug in 0 for x, that's going to be 6. So that's going to be 0, 6. What do I mean? Plug in 0, because if you plug in x equal to 0, that means the y-intercept. So that's going to be 2 times 0 squared plus 8 times 0 plus 6. That's equal to 6. So you got y-intercept. The funny thing about quadratic, you only need a 2-point to graph a problem, believe it or not. But this 2-point has to be, one of them has to be a vertex. Because on the other side, this is the axis symmetry. They act a mirror, right? If they act like a mirror, can they have another point on this side? So they act like a mirror. So guess what? You got a problem. You got yourself a problem. And there we go. You're done. You graphed the standard form for the first time. Well, actually, you probably learned it in algebra too, but just they do that shitty job, so they don't teach you right. Because if I would do the shit, if I teach algebra 2, then you guys will have to memorize this graph. Because it's something that's always on the test. We're going to talk about projectile functions. And projectile functions, you do throw on air. It's just, you'll have a really good personality. You're going to get more girlfriend than you can think of.
Really back
You don't agree? His sister has good personality. Yeah, it's funny. He just laugh about everything. That's a great personality.